Hey, get into this. Get into this little intergalactic smoky eye baby doll moment that I've got going on here. Okay? Get into it. Get into it. We have a journey today for you. So sit down, buckle up, and prepare to get into this look and some rebrands. Okay, we're talking rebrands. That is the topic of the day, the name of the game. Okay, top rebrands. We're gonna go through my Roman Empire of rebrands, and at the end, I would love for you to go into the comments and let me know who and what your Roman Empire of rebrands are. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, I know I normally save the lead for the intermission, but your girl is going through it, okay? Going through it. So this video is exactly a day late simply because, I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. Just know that there was a whole video filmed and ready, and we're still in retrograde, so I'm gonna chalk it up to the game. But child, so I'm gonna redo the look that I already filmed, took pictures for, had the thumbnail, all that good stuff. If you follow me on any social media, then you've already seen some of this, but we're gonna redo that look because that look was amazing. Okay, so you guys already know I'm starting out with Shape Tape and Tan Sand Deep on my eyes. I'm going to take my Real Technique Expert Concealer Brush to blend it out. Now you guys know I am always wearing my eyelashes, except for today. That is quite literally because with dealing with the mayhem of realizing I have to refilm this and just everything, the last, 24 hours, your girl has been quite literally shaking, crying, going out. So the lashes had to go, and I just didn't have, I was like putting them back on before filming this. So we're going to use my little Amazon lashes today. Okay, now I'm going to take my Bare Minerals Original Veil with my Sonia Kashuk powder brush and just dab it over the concealer I just put over my eyes. So I'm going to go into my Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette, and to carve out my shape, we're going to start the black in the palette, which is the Shawada. I have a lot of palettes, and most of them have a black in it. This palette, to me, is the darkest black that I have of all my palettes. So when I need a black, I tend to go towards this one. Okay, so I'm going to carve out my little baby doll eye shape. While I'm shaping it, as you can see, I've already done it on this side. You want to take a very slow steps, okay? I'm using this Morphe angled brow brush. I don't know what it is about these brushes, but the angled brush is always going to be my go-to. Yeah, just gonna carve out the shape. With this, I'm trying to be a bit precise. I am going to fill all of this in with black, so my main concern is being precise with the top, okay? And if not, trusty dusty cotton swab. See, slow. I'm not doing long drags because I don't know if you can see it, but then like that happens, it starts to smudge. So I go slow, and once I get to a certain point, I flip it, and at the pointed part on the inside instead, and I go from the inside in. It's kind of just easier for me to maintain control that way. Now my main concern is just trying to mimic the left side. Also with this, I am starting a little lower, and I'm thickening up as I go, as long as I get the shape concise and crisp. So yeah, I know it'll be a little higher, but I'm going slow, and I'm trying to go from closer to the eye out so it doesn't look too crazy and I don't have to go in and edit too much, you know? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the same Morphe angled brush, and I'm going to fill in the shape all the way back, just like on this side. I'm going to start with the angled brush so I can get this precise. Just so I can get out of that little pocket. And then I'm going to take my Morphe eyeshadow brush and just pack that. And when I do this, I do like to tilt my head back so there's no creases. And so I just get a smooth little base for all the color to go on evenly. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this Urban Decay Smiley palette with this little sponge, eye sponge tool. And I'm going to go right into the brainwave, and I'm going to take it right in the middle of my eye. Now, if you guys notice when I do things for the middle of my eye, it's kind of wide, like the space is kind of wide. And I just want to say that simply because I'm working off of my eye shape. I have big eyes, so if I were to do this portion smaller, it would look strange because like eyes big, but the focal point of my eye makeup is small. Make that make sense? So I'm working with my eye shape. So I'm just going to take it and pack it. Now it's not too noticeable. It is very noticeable, especially if you were looking at me in person. But, you know, it's just something subtle. But I'm also going to go on the side and try and like soften that up with my Sonia Keshuk small eyeshadow brush. I'm just going to take that to the sides just to soften it up so it's not a very harsh line. Because, as I've said before, harsh lines are not sexy. Okay. I'm going to take this unnamed Morphe brush. And I'm going to outline the top of this shape in this palette with the fire first, and then I'm going to go in with the upper. So I'm going to take a light little line of the fire just to, I like the way both of these colors look together. Okay, so just something light, or no, it's catching. Oh, it's catching. Okay, a light little color, and now I'm going to go back into this palette into the upper color, and I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to pack this color on a bit more. Okay, and now I'm going to go back into that same color. I'm just gonna go all up in that bitch. And I'm going to go right here in the middle and pack it in. Now that we've done most of the work, y'all already know it's time for an intermission. Today we're going to talk about rebrands. We're going to talk about my top rebrands of all time. So my current list is not... I'm not putting this list... Actually, no. This is ranked. It's slightly ranked, but not fully. When we get to the top, my top two are not ranked at all. Okay? But let's start out. I'm going to start with Tim Allen. If one of you don't know who Tim Allen is, you might be a little too young to be watching my page. I don't really know. Maybe go check on that. But if you do, my man went from catching a drug charge to being everybody's favorite handyman neighbor. And to me, I think that's iconic. Okay? Iconic. Now, the next one, Snoop Dogg. I feel like it speaks for itself. Okay? He went from near being a with attitude to the face of Skechers. BFS with Martha Stewart. Snoop Dogg, if for whatever reason you find this, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Okay? Next, this may or may not be controversial depending on where you're at in your personal educational journey. Gandhi. Because he's out there in his time raping 16-year-old girls and getting them pregnant. Jesus. And yet somehow when people want to talk about peace and all that good, his name gets brought up. No ma'am. No ma'am. Throw him out. Throw him out. That rebrand, crazy. And like, no. 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 Okay, these next two, for me, I find them funny in a very non-funny way. Layaway. So like, I remember back in the day, layaway was something that was looked down upon because if you were using layaway, you were marked as a poor. Okay, that was automatically a social standing of, okay, financially, we see you, we know what you are, okay? Which I don't think layaway was anything ever to be demonized, but you know how society is, classism and all that. So layaway was a thing for, if anybody for whatever reason has no idea what layaway was, back in the day, you could go into like a Walmart, you could go into a Kmart, and you could go pick up big ticket items or even smaller ticket items. It just depends on your budget. Walk around the store, pick it up, and then take it to a place called Layaway where you give it to the store to hold for you, and they would hold it, and piece by piece you would pay it off, and once you pay it off in full, you go to the store and you can pick up the item and you can finally take the item home. And the rebrand is crazy because now the girlies are using Afterpay and Klarna and Affirm like it's nothing, and it's normalized. Like getting something on Afterpay doesn't give you that mark, that scarlet letter like it used to. So like the girlies are putting luxury handbags on Afterpay, and you know what? Don't let me stop you. Good for you. I believe everybody should be able to buy the things they want in a way that's feasible for them. However, I very much remember the kids getting clowned at school whose parents got their shit off Playaway. So just find it interesting. This next one is pleather, or shall I say vegan leather. I remember pleather being like a it's cute. Yeah, pleather. That was the reaction for pleather. But now, vegan leather apple skin. Like, ooh, it's very artisanal pleather, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, I guess, as long as when you want to reboot something and bring it back, you make it sound sexier, I guess, and it's more acceptable. Okay. And these next two, they're like head and head for me. I can't choose, so I'm gonna start with this one. And I'm doing this one very brief. Like, this is gonna be like a real brief. Japan. I'm not a teacher. I am not a historian. I'm low-key one of them children that George Bush left behind when it comes to that subject. So you're gonna have to do the research on your own, but at the very least, the Philippines. Japan's rebrand is, y'all did that, okay? Y'all mother did that. Because even I'm a fan, okay? I am a fan. Good for y'all. Finally, the trad wife life.
We clapping back tonight. And I'm gonna say,
I'm prefacing this with, this isn't me fully hating on that. The rebrand is crazy to me because I vividly remember all of the talks, because me and my friends, we joke about this constantly, me and my partner joke about this constantly. The girls back in that day, those traditional wives, honey, they were on drugs, okay? They were on antidepressants, anxiety meds, they were on, baby, you name it, that and a glass of wine or some scotch. They weren't just raw dogging that. And so it's very wild to me because now the girls want to bring back the trad wife life, but I feel as though we're in this era of the girlies want to be holistic. You want to be like a holistic girly being a trad wife.
girl.
Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
I fully believe our ancestors were doing that because they needed the drugs. And honey, if they needed the drugs, I know you need the drugs. So if you want to do it, get the drugs. Okay? That would be my list of best rebrands of all time. Like, if I those are my top, like my Roman empires of rebrands, so to speak. Okay. Again, let me know in the comments what your Roman Empire rebrand is. Like, I am very curious. I am very, very curious because rebrands to me, I think it's amazing in so many ways. Some ways being very sad because a lot of these rebrands shouldn't have been allowed to be rebranded, but I'm not here for that. So let's get back to the makeup, shall we? Let's get to the thing. Okay, so I'm starting with the Tarte Creaseless Concealer in Tan Deep. I'm taking it in the corner because it is my lightest color. And I'm going to take my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Walnut and go right outside left. Time out. Time out. Time out, coach. Time out. Do y'all see this? Let me settings for this with the Make It Last to Leave Milani real quick. But are y'all seeing this? The butterfly? Like the wings? The antennas? Do you see the butterfly? It's a butterfly. Like, is this like the Worcester? Worcester test? I'm saying that wrong. I might be saying that wrong. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm taking Shape Tape and Espresso on the tip of my nose real quick. But yeah, do you guys see it? The butterfly. Like, am I losing my mind? Or just not, like, I need y'all to let me know if you see the butterfly, because it's like, is it the weed? Because I see a butterfly, okay? But anyway, let's move past that. Okay, I'm going to take a little spinning brush, you already know, and get into this nose. Okay. Now I'm going to go take my, I'm going to spray my Rare Beauty Concealer brush and hit the outside. I'm gonna be completely honest, I might not be as mad about having to refilm this, simply because when I filmed it the first time, the weed took over and I completely forgot to put foundation on, so I did so much and I was about to put my powder on. I had my cream blush on and everything. Foundation was an afterthought, honey. So I'm trying to get it right this time. But that also still might happen again in the future because it's just who I am. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my favorite Sonia Kashuk brush. Oh wow, wrong end. And go in with my brush. And when I do this, I always try to look down, head down, eyes up. So I hold my mirror like this when I'm doing it. I try to eliminate as much creasing as possible. See how smooth that is? Let's see, here we go. Okay, now I'm going to take this tiny little brush just for my tip of my nose, just to so look. I am, however, going to go back in a little bit on this, the inside of this eye, my left eye. Yeah. So my camera needed to cool down, so in the meantime I put on my lashes. Okay, so I'm going to take my e.l.f. Putty Blush in Caribbean and my Putty Bronzer brush into my cheek. Okay, so as I'm doing this, I'm realizing I made the same mistake that I made last time. And I haven't put my foundation on. Okay. Let's put on some foundation, shall we? Okay, so since I'm clearly an unserious individual, I'm just going to take this e.l.f. Halo Glow and go just a little light on the areas that obviously have absolutely no product. I'm doing my e.l.f. airbrush foundation swirl thing. Just the weed man. Sometimes the weed be winning. I need to do better at that. Put one on my forehead, because you know, big headed rise up. Just be, you know, a little happy, big. I mean. Okay. I'll take the butt of my Sonia Kashif brush. I mean, not brush. Sponge, y'all know what I'm trying to say. And just go in a blending spree. Okay. So now I'm going to take my Dion Cosmetics loose powder in shade 3. While using my Dion Cosmetics puff. And when I do it, I don't put that much on my puff. Very little. And then I dab it on my skin. Or if I have like a cloth on me, and then I just go in. But I'm only going in on what the concealer is. I'm not going over my blush when I do this. I try and keep it concentrated to simply what the concealer is on, because I'm going to go over that with the powder blush. So I try not to do too much. Just personal preference. I just don't like the way it looks. Everything that I do with my makeup is quite literally just personal preference. It's trial and error and me trying the quote-unquote standard of what the girls are doing and having to edit or completely cut that out of my routine because it just doesn't I don't like the way it works for me. I'm gonna try to get that indent on my nose. I'm also gonna take it here. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go in with my ultimate fave, MAC Studio Fix in NW45. I'm gonna take my airbrush blender from e.l.f. and go over everything else. I'm also gonna go back over here just to, I don't know, add some color. So I mainly do it here and where my foundation was on my forehead. Going into this Juvia's Paste palette, this the sweetest pinks. I'm going to go into this color using my Wet n Wild brush that is nameless because I don't even remember when I got it. So if you know Juvia's Palace, you know that everything that they do is pigmented as so I'm not going in with too much color, even though I feel like I already have. That's okay. So I do feel like I went a little heavy over here, so what I'm going to do to get some of that off is go in with a sponge and kind of just press into it, and hopefully it diffuses it a bit, and it does. I also don't mind that I feel like it's more blush than I normally wear. The look kind of just calls for it. You know, before I put in my dots, I'm just going to go in and mascara my bottom lashes. Okay, so I've done my bottom lashes and I'm going to put the dots, little freckle dots on my face. Now I'm going to go in with my Inglot gel liner, my favorite little Morphe brush, and just do my eye dots. Okay, so I'm going to start with my Sephora Rogue gel liner in Molasses. Maybelline Express eyeliner in Espresso. And just go right over it, just in a tight line. I'm going to go in with my MAC Powder Kiss liquid lipstick in Over the Taupe. I love this nude. It's like my second favorite nude. It's very much the color of my lips. It's just got more of a pink hue than when I want like a true beige khaki nude. I'm also going to take this little brush and put some powder on my liner. Okay. Now let me take my hair down real quick. And that's the look. I hope you guys like it. Let me know how you feel in the comments. And I will see you guys next week promptly on Sunday, 12 p.m. PST.